Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for part 2 of the round of 64 of our Marvel character draft. And if you will, I'd ask that you go back to part 1 if this is where you're joining us and listen to that shit first. It would only make sense then, buddy. This is the Penny Bloom Podcast. I'm Colton Robertson, and I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up?
I'm fucking ready for the second half of this round of 64. Part 2, baby. Let's fucking rock this shit. You ready to jump right in?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let me just tell any listeners here. We had if you're here for the first time, go ahead and go listen to part 1. It's not that it won't make sense. It's just that we had a whole other set of matchups before this. And they will have an impact on the round of 32. However, that is of no concern here. We are the other half of the bracket for the round of 64. And I say we get into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So we've got a 1 versus a 16 seed here. And we've got Steve Rogers versus Jia Ling of the new Shang-Chi movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame, but we do have to see Jia Ling go here. Yeah. Steve Rogers is definitely the winner, and we'll talk more on him probably as the bracket goes on. So let's talk Jia Ling for a second and try to remain as spoiler-free as possible so as to preserve the experience of Shang-Chi for the listener. Won't be out on Disney Plus till November 12th, which will be a couple days after this is out, actually, interestingly enough.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to watch that so many times at home.
Dude, I'm going to watch that shit so fucking much. And a big reason is Jia Ling. Her character is so fascinating. Her being the sister to Shang-Chi and the daughter of Wenwu. She might be my favorite character from that movie. Like as we've gotten further removed from viewing that movie, she is aged as well as any character in that film. And
I'd agree. I mean, if it's not Shang-Chi himself, like
and I mean, like, she's a fucking badass.
Oh,
she's resilient as hell. She's got that rebellious streak. She's here to fuck shit up, you know. And she's got the underworld vibe.
Let's see. The difference, I don't want to spoil like anything. Like the difference between Shang-Chi and her is like Shang-Chi was kind of like just a normal dude for most of his life, but like
she grew up in the thick of it.
She was in the business, you know. Like she's been growing up.
Well, she wasn't just in the business. She was kept from the business and still learned the business.
Exactly.
Which lets you know she had her wits about her at a very young age. So she's just a super fucking cool character, and I cannot wait for whatever she has in store going forward. And if you have seen Shang-Chi and you'd like a more intense conversation on that movie with spoilers and such, head to our episode 131. I think it was we talked What If, the first half of the season of What If, and Shang-Chi. So that's where you'll find that. But it's got to be Steve Rogers.
He's every short king's dream. Short, scrawny, turned into just massive of a man. Would be awesome. Well, I mean, he's just iconic comics and in the MCU.
And see, this is another one where, like, you take this is one of the first ones, I'll say, where I took the historical aspect in, and it truly, truly changed the outcome. Like, Jia Ling's a pretty relatively new character, as new as Shang-Chi and stuff. So Steve Rogers just has to be it.
It is Steve Rogers. It is Captain America. We are talking the MCU here, basically, and it'd be criminal to have Steve lose in the first round.
That's for sure. But Xialing, fantastic character, and certainly a few movies down the line could give anyone a run for their money for me.
Maybe Val can pay her a visit.
I'm thinking she's got her own thing going on though now. If you like,
need allies
I see her going a little bit more of an allyship with one Sharon Carter, the power broker. I think that would make a lot of sense. But let's get on to this next matchup. Steve Rogers takes it over Xialing. We're gonna dive into an 8 seed versus a 9 seed here. We've got Drax versus Cyclops. Now, this is a tough one for me. This is one of the first, I believe, where we have an MCU character versus an X-Men character. I don't believe that's happened yet.
Iron Man was against Iron Fist, but that's I think this is the first
MCU versus X-Men. So this is tearing at my two hearts here. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I guess if you count Miles Morales at Wolverine, but Miles
we
Morales
haven't discussed that yet. That's next round.
Oh, whoopsies! All right.
Whoopsies. Round of 32. But also last episode I lied about Wolverine versus Mr. Fantastic being our first MCU Void matchup. We had Deadpool versus Human Torch.
There it is.
Deadpool versus Human Torch, and Professor X versus Jean Grey.
This one is interesting though. Like I'm having actual trouble here. Decide I don't know who I'm gonna go with between Cyclops and Drax.
I'm if we're going off movie portrayal, that was the basis as to our choosing of the characters. I think Cyclops has had a better go of it on screen. I think Drax is an awesome character. He's funny. Batista portrays him perfectly. But he's not Cyclops. Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. He's
a way more established character.
Oh, way more historic. He's first class. He was there in Uncanny X-Men #1, 1963. He was there. As soon as it got going, he was in the thick of it. So I think it's got to be Cyclops giving us another upset here in the round of 64.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. It's just the character design too, just badass. Dude can't control himself sometimes. Watching the Phoenix Saga thing, there was a moment where someone just knocked off his glasses walking on the street, and he just literally there's a moment.
If his eyes are open and he doesn't have his goggles on, that shit's going everywhere. Yeah, he can't stop it.
It's just insane.
But let's put some respect on Drax right quick.
Yeah.
He's a cool character, and I do think the MCU did him a little dirty. They did him a little dirty because I don't know if you recall in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, he had as big a beef with Ronan and Thanos as anybody.
That's true.
They killed his family.
Yeah, he was first-hand affected by Thanos.
They killed his family. He sought to destroy Ronan and therein Thanos. And then you don't hear about it again after that movie. You just don't. He doesn't really. He brings up his family in Volume 2 where he's he misses them and stuff, but it's not and Ronan does die at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So I think they were trying to kind of hope that they could narrow the focus in it being Gamora and Thanos more, and Nebula and Thanos more, instead of like Drax got his closure with Ronan, but that doesn't make a ton of sense, you know, like he.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's I never thought about that way. Like I just never thought about that aspect of like Drax's story, like when it came to Endgame.
Oh, and that's another thing though, is that like it's not going to be Drax who does end to Thanos. You know, that's not what's going to happen in the show. That just doesn't make sense. Because I mean, it's Drax. He's bottom of the lineup in the Guardians team. You know, like he's strong, he's cool, and he's powerful and stuff. He's Drax the Destroyer, but Drax the Destroyer isn't going to kill the guy with the 6 Infinity Stones. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not going to happen.
I mean, hey, he could have moved so slow and
that
he snuck up on Thanos. He could have, you know. He has proven to be invisible.
There's that moment in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that like just fucks me up when him and Mantis are sitting on Ego, like looking out at the sunset and stuff. And she touches his shoulder and she starts sobbing. Like, she just feels immense pain through Drax. And it's like, fuck. Like, damn, he's just sitting there with like a little bit of like not a smile, but like a blank face, just sitting there. And Mantis can feel that he is just suffering emotionally.
That another devastating character. A lot of the Guardians, man. I guess that's kind of what they all are, you know. Just
that's how that's a huge part of their found family. Like they went through shit. They went through some shit, dude. That's their whole thing.
Damn. Yeah, the more I think of the Guardians, the more I'm just feeling bad for them.
Like the only one that we don't know we don't know to have had a tragic backstory is Groot.
And who knows what Groot's gotten into, man.
No, nobody fucking knows what Groot's done. Groot could be fucking ancient. We have no idea how old Groot is.
Yeah, like Rocket is kind of like his dad, but like, how does that make any? He
is come the baby Groot.
Okay, true.
Not first Groot. Him and first Groot are more.
That's true.
Are more like a partnership than a father-son.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Cyclops takes it over Drax. Yeah. It's just
sorry, Drax.
Such is the way of things. And thus we have the first upset on this side of the bracket. Those 9-8s have been going to the 9s so far. Interesting to think about. Perhaps we should have. But let's go to this next matchup. We got a 4 versus a 13. Couple of Asgardians. We got Loki versus Heimdall. And I got a lot of love in my heart for Heimdall. You know, he's a strong character, but he's no Loki. He's not the first villain that the Avengers had to face, and he's not very prominent. He doesn't have his own series. And...
Yeah. Dude definitely had the power of the Soul Stone, though.
That's facts.
Like, whatever he had,
oh shit! I never really thought about it like that. Like the shit that gets Red Skull and sends him to Vormir, it's essentially the same power that Heimdall has.
Why? Odin, that is why I think Odin had all the stones very early. Very early. Like, Bifrost is exactly what that shit looked like. Like, and, like, oh, dude, like, there's so many similarities between Asgard and what the stones do. Or, like, what the stones do and then, like, the people of Asgard. Like, Loki is a master manipulator, and he can basically use the reality stone. Thor Power, and I don't know. He's more just a brute guy. Like Odin had a spear that had a laser that looked just like visions that came out of his head. Odin had the Mind Stone right in his spear.
Well, he did, because it was in Loki's spear.
Yeah,
and then they put it in Vision's forehead.
And you can't tell me that the gauntlet that Hera pushes over is just a gag. Like, it's basic.
Hella.
Sorry.
No, you're cool. I was like, I'm getting Hera. No worries.
That's Star Wars one. Yeah. But Odin had all of them. Whether he had them all at the same time, I don't know. But like, Odin had all of them, and Heimdall is the soul, like Soul Stone. Like, his eyes are orange.
Bro can see Bro can see everything.
Everything.
There's got to be. He can see everything with his soul.
Yep.
That's got to be it.
Yep.
That's got to be it, right?
100%. Like, you. Yeah. He couldn't see where like Ultron was. You know, or
and
like
he couldn't see Jane when she was in the alternate reality where she was imbued with the power of the
ether.
The ether.
Dang. Yeah, that's Heimdall's cool, and
Loki's cooler.
Yeah, but just Loki's way cooler. He has the reality stone. It's just a cooler stone. I'm saying these like it's confirmed facts.
Yeah, like these are confirmed facts now.
Basically is in my mind. Like, this dude Odin,
your head canon.
Yeah, that's how he did it, man. That's where he got all of his power from, is the Infinity Stones.
I buy it. But yeah, I mean, we have 6 episodes of Loki's Losers where we talk deeply about Loki.
Mm-hmm. Man,
what's not to love about Loki?
That series was awesome, man. I just don't know why they didn't say there was going to be like a part 2 from the get-go. Like, would have made the show way better. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it would have. Because I was really expecting wrap up with Mobius and
a lot of other things. Like, we're like,
and Renslayer and stuff.
We just weren't expecting it to end that way at all. And we're like, okay. Oh, part 2. Okay.
Just sitting there fucking crying, as is everybody in Phase 4 so far. Just sitting there fucking crying. But let's I'm with you though. Loki definitely gets Heimdall. And I wish I had more to say about Heimdall. Heimdall's dope. He's
the last
like
thing
the role he
did.
played in Ragnarok. Ragnarok was dope. The fact that he was like the leader of the people of Asgard, like they followed Heimdall when there was no one else to follow.
He just
talking about it, I like kind of want to choose Heimdall. Like, I know I have to choose Loki, but like, boy, oh boy, I love Heimdall. The last thing
Heimdall did while he was bleeding out is, "Oh, fathers, give me strength this last time to send the Hulk to Earth to warn everybody of Thanos." Like, that's his last thing he does, and then he gets stabbed, and it's like, he died. And then Thor sees literally everyone die in front of him. Oh, it's just, man,
devastating. But yeah, Loki has had his fair share of that same sort of tragedy, I'd say.
It's adopted.
Didn't know it for a while.
He's an ice giant, actually, but not a giant somehow.
So interested in how Odin prevented that.
Reality Stone
prevented him from.
Come on,
it has to be something like that.
Come on.
How did Odin prevent Loki from ever becoming a frost giant?
The only MCU explanation that's coming to my mind
is the Reality Stone.
It's the only thing I can think of. That man Odin just has powers, or he has all the stones.
But yeah, okay. So Loki beats out Heimdall. That's the ending there, and we'll go on to the next matchup: 5 versus 12. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, versus Monica Rambeau, soon to be Photon. And like I just said, soon to be. That's all we can really say about Monica Rambeau right now, because I'm not going to lie to you. One of the strongest origin stories so far for me. I really loved her part in WandaVision. And if she is going, like, she might be the one to look out for above all the other side characters introduced in Phase 4. Like, it's Monica Rambeau is like going to be right there alongside Captain Marvel and be like, that's going to be someone that's going to get her own shit one day for sure.
Yeah, I'm her transformation was really cool, and the whole, like, it's kind of still up in the air as to like what happened. Like, if like she had an X gene activated, basically, like, but it's like such a, like, she basically has like the first X gene, kind of like
she was mutated. Yeah,
she was mutated in some way, and I think it's just because the first time she went through, nothing happened. She got back out, but thrown out. So did she really go through again? Does that count? I don't know. Then she went back in on her own will, and then she noticed her powers. So, like, was it the second?
Well, it wasn't until then that she fully unlocked them.
True. Interesting. Do you think? I don't know. I'm really.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, was it that Monica had a previous inclination towards those abilities, or was it that she was the only person who crossed through the barrier? Like, everyone else was just in the barrier. You know what I'm saying? When Wanda created it.
That's true.
But when she extended it, it went to all those,
she was
like, sword
in the barrier for way longer.
Yeah.
Like, her DNA changed. Like, yeah. Duh, because she comes back the first time, whenever she went through the first time, and it was partial.
Her cells were like blank.
Yeah, blank. So, like, definitely her DNA is changing. But then when she went back in, it was like the full transformation. Like, yeah. That makes sense. But
But like we said on the other episode where Sam Wilson was a part of that bracket, the Winter Soldier Bucky's been around for 10 years. Was the subject of a whole movie before he was the main character, one of two main characters in his own series. And I mean, like, was basically the source of the argument in another massive movie. So, like, the Winter Soldier is undoubtedly had a larger impact on the MCU as we know it than Monica Rambeau has so far. And
arguably Monica's leading into cooler stuff, though.
That's for sure. I'll tell you that
Bucky,
for sure. But
Bucky's
I just want
man.
Bucky to get a fucking break.
Yeah.
I just want him
Bucky
to chill in
vacation.
New Orleans with Sam Wilson's sister.
That's the thing, man.
And that just be it.
Is a guy like that, like, can you ever chill out? Is the thing. Because he tried. He living on his own. He tried to chill out. Can't. But he hasn't fully made, gone through his full process of making his accords or whatever he he says to everybody.
Well, he finished his
list.
Yeah,
that's right. No, that's right. He did finish his list.
Because he puts it on puts it on the therapist's desk and delivers it to the president.
Oh, man, I gotta watch that.
I really like Bucky in that. See, like, that's the thing. Whenever I look back at that fucking show, dude, I love both of them. Sam and Bucky just knocked it out of the park. And I mean, I think to, like, that scene on in Wakanda to open up one of the episodes where Ayo is telling him or using the Winter Soldier activation phrases. And he's like resisting and resisting and resisting. And then she gets to the end of it and he wasn't activated. And he like breaks down into tears and smiles. And I was just like, God damn, what a fucking moment, dude. Like, not a lot of the characters in the MCU can say they've had a moment with such emotional resonance the way that moment carried. You know what I'm saying?
That show made me cry so much. Like,
multiple
The Falcon
times
and Winter
over.
Soldier, it was like just an emotionally riveting show. Like, it was so
It really
good.
was.
Like, and like, I didn't expect that out of Bucky. Like, coming into the like, I don't know. I didn't expect it out of Bucky at all, but Sebastian Stan just killed it. Like, that both of them just killed it. Like, that show was just awesome.
They were the shit. I loved it so much. And yeah, Bucky Barnes, he'll be moving on here.
Excited to see where
Monica Rambeau
winds up.
Oh, and see, that's the thing. Like, after the Marvels and after Secret Invasion and stuff, like, hey, Monica Rambeau is gonna be up there for me. I can tell you that much. She's one of those, like, I'm saying that for all these Phase 4 introductions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're gonna be fucking good one day, dude. Like, they've really gotten that shit figured out. The way to give people their come up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Teyonah Parris in that role is just fantastic. But nevertheless, Bucky Barnes moves on. Let's go to the next one. We got a 2 seed versus a 15 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Got Captain Marvel versus Mantis. And I love Mantis. Her power's really cool. She's really innocent and fun on screen. Like, I love having her around.
She kept Thanos asleep for like a minute. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but Captain Marvel can literally destroy a planet if she's not careful. So
he feels pain, loss.
He's too strong.
I do love Mantis, dude. She is a great character, and her dynamic with Drax is so much fun.
To take names and
you're one of the ugliest creatures I've ever seen.
Kick names and take ass, or whatever.
Yeah, take names and kick ass. Kick names and take ass.
Man. Yeah, they're deaf.
You are horrifying to look at.
Man, yeah, they are super funny. I forgot about their cute little funny moments they have together.
But that's okay, because when you're ugly and someone loves you, you know they love you for who you are.
Man, what a brutal truth, though. Like, just like, how do you respond to that? You know, like, it's like, thank you, like, or you know, like, I don't know.
Who did Drax lose to last episode? Because every time we talk about him, I be rethinking it.
He lost to Cyclops in this episode.
That was earlier this episode?
Second matchup.
Damn. We be talking a lot. I don't know, man. I keep reflecting on that one.
Cyclops, the
history played. Yeah, I can't ignore the history of Cyclops and the X-Men. I can't let my MCU brain really rot over
really
the rest
does
of it.
win over Drax. Like,
he does. Yeah. He absolutely does.
But Captain Marvel definitely wins over Mantis too.
And I'm going to tell you something I'm realizing. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies are my favorite Marvel movies. Like, and it's not close. Like, I reflect so lovingly on all these characters, dude.
Oh, yeah.
They are so fucking
And it's just
good.
sad that every single one of them, the only one that's moved on is Gamora, and that's only because she was against another Guardian.
Yeah.
Every other Guardian has lost so far. Groot lost. Drax lost. Mantis lost. Is Rocket on this list? Is he later on?
Rocket's coming up later.
No.
Ooh, his will be a fun one. We'll say that for later.
Okay.
But
okay.
His will be a fun one. But yeah, and then obviously we had Gamora facing Star-Lord. So
The
Gamora
Guardians
went ahead and
just
moved on.
devastation is just what they know, and it just sticks with them everywhere they go.
It sticks with them everywhere they go. Nebula lost too. Damn.
Just what are the odds, man? They get paired up against these like.
No, because like those are far and away the ones that I felt the worst about. Is when the Guardians are getting voted off. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, Captain Marvel has to win, and I mean, like, there's no better example of that than the most recent episode of What If featuring Captain Marvel. That What If Thor were an only child? Boy, oh boy, was that a fun fucking watch.
Man, just answered the age-old question of who'd win. They answered it right then and there.
And Captain Marvel is a fucking impossible beast to stop. She is just
Send
incredible.
in the nukes. What about Captain Marvel? She'll be fine. What?
Yeah. Carol Danvers is she's quite the character, and I love that movie, and I'm very excited to see how deep she can make it in this bracket, because she's got a fun. This is a fun little section of the bracket that we're starting with Captain Marvel here.
This bracket is interesting.
Really, like this is a fun. Yes. This is like all villains.
I
what
told
the
you,
fuck?
A lot more villains in this one.
This section of 8 has 5 villains. That is like right in a row. That's outstanding. But yeah, Captain Marvel takes it over Mantis pretty easily. Shall we move on to the next matchup? We got a 7 versus a 10. Ooh.
Yeah.
We got Storm of the X-Men versus Doctor Doom, the villain of the Fantastic Four.
And this one is kind of feeling like an upset, in my opinion.
I don't know, though. See, I have
okay.
I have a lot of love for Storm.
I'm thinking comics though right now. Like, I'm thinking comic Doctor Doom. I'm thinking like I gotta kind of get that out of my head. Like
you got to go Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom.
And like he has the upcoming thing too, which.
Well, so did Storm though.
Oh, true. Okay, fair. And historically, Storm is like huge.
Oh, I mean, she introduced in that Resurrection of the X-Men in 1975. She truly became like that was the issue that introduced her, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler to the X-Men. Like, she is the queen of Wakanda in certain stories. She marries T'Challa.
Damn.
She's she's a weather goddess. She is Mother Nature.
Doctor Doom, though.
But Doctor Doom's dope. No, see, this is tough. Like, I hate that this is a first round matchup. Because this feels more like a later round matchup. This is one of the first ones where I can say that this feels like it belongs later.
This is like
because both of these characters,
like the two best teams in the NFL playing each other in the first round of the playoffs or something. Like, this is what exactly. This is like. You don't want them to meet up right now. Like, it's a cool matchup though, regardless.
It's facts. And
okay. I side with the villain often. So
it's true.
I'm taking it back and like just looking at Storm. Storm probably wins this one.
Doctor Doom does have that deeper history. He goes back to the early days of the Fantastic Four in 1963. Obviously, Storm only comes 12 years later, but that's still a while. Storm also has had far more adaptations on screen. We've gotten one Doctor Doom adaptation on screen. We've had Storm in X-Men X2, Last Stand, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse. She's been prevalent.
And like a relatable character that you can relate to and have emotions
and is a moral compass.
And then you have Doctor Doom. Who's Doctor Doom? Yeah, I got to get my mind out of the villain gutter. Well,
see,
I love
the thing
villains,
is that
though.
I'd be more. Oh, and like let's give some credit to Dr. Doom's story here then, because that's where I really go to Storm as her characteristics. She is virtuous. She is through and through good. Dr. Doom, however, is this sort of corrupted by power and riches villain who like also has the love angle. He fell in love with Sue Storm. Reed Richards and them had a love triangle. She picks Reed, makes him fall down that bad path a little bit more. Like it's there's compelling. There's plenty of stuff to be compelling there. But in terms of iconicism, Dr. Doom
is pretty iconic.
Fucking that's the Fantastic Four villain. You know what I'm saying?
Like he is really iconic.
It's just that so is she.
Oh man, I
gotta go Storm though. I gotta go Storm. That's where I land ultimately. I hate that this matchup came so like first round of 64, because Dr. Doom is one that I wanted to make it out of the round of 64 for sure. And you hate to see it. But you also love to see it, because Storm needs her shine. And that next round matchup for Storm is going to be a fun one to talk about.
That's also a reason I was going with Storm, because
that matchup makes more sense. It's more fun that way. But let's go on to this next one, where we've got a 3 versus a 14. And we got a couple of villains, which this might be our first villain on villain match. Thanos versus Kingpin.
He's inevitable. Move him on.
I am inevitable.
Now, what do you think? Do you like? There's I think it was probably just a TikTok. I don't know, something that I saw. But it was like other characters, if they had the I am Iron Man, like if they snapped instead of Tony, what that character would have said.
Gotcha.
Thanos's is I'm inevitable. He said it. You know, we know it. Tony's, we know it. What do you think Cap would say? Like, it wouldn't be snarky. Like it.
If it would have been Cap, it would have been a callback to Infinity War when he said, I am Steve Rogers. And he would have gone, I am Steve Rogers. Yeah. It would, like, I think just because they would have done, they wouldn't have been able to resist the callback. They would have gone straight for the throat with that callback. And then I don't think he would have said, I am Captain America. Like, I think Tony Stark had more pride to take in the identity identity Iron Man than he did Tony Stark. Whereas I think Steve Rogers was so comfortable in who he was that him being and I also think there's something there to be said for like all Tony's life, or not all Tony's life, but his career as Iron Man. He'd viewed his virtuous side as Iron Man, and he kind of viewed his self in a negative light in the Tony Stark way.
Yeah, that's
at times. Obviously, he was cocky and arrogant and stuff, but like anything that was wrong with him, it was Tony's fault. You know, and
Thanos, man.
That last I am Iron Man moment is him coming to be, I am Tony Stark. Tony Stark is Iron Man, though. Like, I am, I'm good. You know, like, I'm as good as it gets, basically. And it's so funny getting that moment from someone who was so arrogant and stuff. Like, I am Iron Man. Like, I am.
Poor dude was tortured by Thanos his whole life, though. Or his whole Iron Man career.
Didn't even know
just,
it.
The actual person behind all of his, like, PTSD, you know? Just...
Yeah, sent Loki to Earth, which is what gave Tony his post-traumatic stress.
Love the fact that my boy got to dunk him even got a comeback while he dunked him. Was sick.
It's true.
I cried like a baby. Holy crap.
Oh,
thank you, Thanos.
Like a baby,
thank you, Thanos,
bro.
for supplying me with that moment. You might have been the bad guy in the situation, but you still had to be there for that to happen. And I thank you. Kingpin, you're cool. You're a Spider-Man villain, which makes you, a cut above most other villains just by being a Spider-Man villain, in the Spider-Man universe mostly. And but you can't beat Thanos. You can't beat the build-up that took,
no, you can't.
However many years to build up to the
respect to Kingpin though, especially in that Into the Spider-Verse appearance. Like I will say, we had not watched a Spider-Man villain murder Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We did watch that Spider-Man villain murder Spider-Man. We did see
a Spider-Man get murdered. That is kind of crazy. You don't see that ever.
Spider-Mans don't die. That's not something that happens. So it's like when that happens in that movie, you go like, I cried when that happened in that movie. And he was like a 3-minute character.
Yeah, it's like,
bro, but like later on in that movie, when Kingpin does the same thing to Miles Morales, and Miles Morales gets up, it's like, yeah. You relish in the loss of Kingpin, I feel like, to a greater degree than you do Thanos. And I mean, like, to a degree.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's the sweetness of the whole, like, finally we defeated Thanos. But, like, it is interesting thinking about, like, in terms of their goal. Like, Thanos wins at the end of Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
But he ultimately loses because of time travel and stuff. Kingpin, obviously his greater goal was interdimensional travel. And time travel itself to get his family back. But you could say that he won when he killed Spider-Man and then lost later on because of these otherworldly effects that bit him in the ass.
He just wanted that time machine, mainly for his family, but like also to go to every Mets game over and over and over. It's all about the Mets.
It's all about the Mets.
But it's kind of weird because even though Thanos' genocide, fair, whatever, it's so out there, you still somehow like sympathize like with Thanos. Like you kind of like are on his side, like not on his side, but like you kind of
you generally get it. Like it's not like it's like you get it, but you're like, this is like it's objectively the wrong way to go about it.
He's a villain, but he's like a different caliber of a villain. Like I don't know really how to explain it.
Well, it's because like he wants an objectively good thing for the universe.
And he's worthy.
He wants even allocation. He wants even allocation of resources to replenish planets and bring peace and comfortability across the galaxy
Odin
to
thinks
every
that's
planet.
Worthy enough, or whatever Odin put in that. Whatever magic governs that. Thinks Thanos is worthy.
Whatever magic governs Mjolnir, it considered Thanos worthy of that power. And, I think
it has to just be based on your intentions. Like, in knowing yourself. That's why Steve could lift it. He was pure in his intentions, and he knew himself. Thanos, by definition, like, was very... he intended to do what he wanted to do. Like, he was very clear and said what he was going to do, even. The only thing that's kind of like up in the air is, I don't know if he says this before or after, but he says like, it's personal now and I will wipe out everybody. And then he like still, I think it happens before. I think he says that before he like lifts Stormbreaker or Mjolnir. Like he says like, it's personal now. I will enjoy killing all of you. Actually, no, he just says, I'll enjoy killing you. I think. Something like that. I don't know. But like it kind of, his intentions aren't clear in that moment at all, and he's like still worthy, but I don't know. But
no, that's true. I hadn't considered that. There does come a point where he see, and this is where you can kind of go, MCU can have some trouble writing stories. Really loses its sting whenever Thanos is like, I'll just wipe it all out then.
Yeah.
And maybe he just meant Earth. I think he might have just meant Earth. Like, which, okay, maybe that's like a little better, but it's still terrible. Like, it's a confusing conundrum, and not all that confusing. It's just like on a scale of how bad is it? It's like it's all bad. It's just a matter of very bad to very, 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 very bad.
Yeah, I wonder what Kingpin would do with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Give me all the scores to the Mets.
Mets everywhere. All the Mets. Everyone the Mets. Yeah, that'd be beautiful. Just oh man, just
world
Mets
full of Mets
everywhere.
Make New York Mets again.
Wow.
Let's go on to this next matchup after Thanos defeats Kingpin. We got a 6 versus an 11.
Sick.
Green Goblin versus Agatha Harkness.
Okay. History is not a battle. Well, Agatha got history.
Green Goblin.
Not the history getting got.
Agatha's got history, but not as meaningful to the character they're there for's history. Like, Green Goblin contributes quite a bit to Spider-Man's history, and Spider-Man's the most iconic Marvel hero there is. Agatha Harkness contributes in part to Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch's history, but is not, and that's not as big. That character wasn't as iconic as Spider-Man, and therefore, and she isn't even necessarily a top foe of the Scarlet Witch. She is the mentor to the Scarlet Witch for a period of time.
Like, really, like to Wanda, the grand scheme of Wanda. Like, Agatha will go down as a pawn to Wanda, but like her character, is not finished. That's for sure. We're getting a lot more of her, which is awesome.
Not. We're getting a whole series on Agatha Harkness, and if we are talking on screen, we have. I will point out, we've gotten about as much.
That's
of each.
True. You only have Spider-Man 1.
We got Spider-Man 1, and we had a whole series
2,
with Agatha Harkness.
Or Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
is it the second one or the first one? Yeah, I think
it's the second one. But is that?
I don't know if that's the green.
Is that the Green Goblin or is that
Hobgoblin? Yeah, no, that's Hobgoblin.
Same with Spider-Man 3 with James Franco, right? Because it's not Norman Osborn, it's his son.
Yeah, I guess we only have Spider-Man 1. And then the cartoons. Like the classic cartoons. True. That's it. And then the trailer.
And I mean the giant goblin we saw.
We're about to get him.
Spider-Verse.
Oh. I don't know if I'm ready.
Dude, getting him back is going to be sweet.
Looks like it's going. Like a modern, that thing modernized. Like, I don't know.
And add that purple accent in there. Don't make it just green. Add that purple.
Just seeing a pumpkin bomb. Like, okay, and that's why Green Goblin wins this round. A pumpkin bomb in a trailer sent a shockwave around the world. And his laugh, like, you heard his laugh. The iconist, like, oh, no, and I mean, God.
Looking back at that story too, you got the scientist who is desperate to keep his
formula. Yeah. I'll do it myself. He's like a Thanos. He's got to do it himself.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Which is pretty cool. But
yeah, this one, I would like to give Agatha Harkness more of a shot.
Yeah.
I would have liked to, but there is this simple iconicism that comes with Green Goblin that just doesn't come with Agatha Harkness.
You don't really have Spider-Man without the Green Goblin. I mean, you do, but the Green Goblin is kind of crucial to Spider-Man, and
yeah, it's true. It's true. But I think to WandaVision, and I think about that Agatha Harkness character, and she was that was just such a special show. And that whole series, we were speculating, who the fuck is Agnes? What is her deal? She was always there. And I don't think that I've really gone back and watched that show. Like, that's Agatha Harkness. She's a villain. She is doing this the whole time. She's doing things the whole time. I haven't really watched it through that lens. So I'm excited to see just how prevalent she is. Because she's in every episode. Like, she is there a lot. And the character design, whenever she goes full witch mode, the ability to absorb all of that magic, and just she's super fucking cool. She is super, super fucking cool.
I really want to know, like, if she is, like, mindless right now, or if, like, she still has some control but just played it off so that Wanda would leave, and then, like, she's gonna, like, make her own version of Westworld or something along the line. Like, why did I say Westworld? Yeah, why did I say Westworld? Westview.
Well, Westworld's a whole other
That's
thing.
a little out of Marvel's scope, I think, right now.
Yeah, right now. For now. Until Disney owns HBO.
Which isn't out of reach, you know?
I mean, they could own Warner Brothers one day, probably.
But yeah. Maybe in 5-10 years, Agatha would take this over Green Goblin. But for now, I think the Goblin's got to move on.
I think the Goblin does move on, but I think it was Agatha all along. Dude.
That jingle is pretty freaking catchy.
No, and like, I think it's like, looking back, it will be like a pop culture defining moment in 2021. Like, it was Agatha all along was like the first plot twist of 2021. It kind of was.
I'm thinking of just the possibility of having Agatha beat Green Goblin here. And I'm just hearing my inner child screaming at me.
Yeah, my inner child wouldn't let it happen either.
We can't disregard like how big of an effect Agatha like really had. Like, honestly, that jingle got so many people into watching that show, and then that show blew up way more because of Agatha. Like, it's truly Agatha all along in every aspect. They've broken the fifth
in every
wall.
Aspect.
Like, they've gone into our homes, man. Like, it's crazy what Marvel's doing now. But
it's true. But you know, the way Willem Dafoe plays that manic Green Goblin going through a mania where he's hearing the Goblin speak to him and he's looking in the mirror seeing a whole other version of himself. There's a lot more to that character, I feel like, than Agatha has for now. But I cannot wait to see what Agatha becomes in the MCU. So for now, we'll go Green Goblin over Agatha, but it'll come back around one day. I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Let's go on to this next part of the bracket. We've got a 1 versus a 16 again. Thor versus Jessica Jones. And Jessica Jones rocks. She's cool. She's dope as fuck. The actress who plays her in that Netflix series is fucking cool. I loved her in Breaking Bad as Margolis, whatever her first name was. She OD'd next to Pinkman, Jesse Pinkman.
Oh, yeah.
She plays Jessica Jones in the Netflix series.
Yeah, I remember that scene now.
It's a pretty scarring scene because Walt let some things happen that he could have, stopped. That was one of the first ones where I was like, I'm out on Walt. Fuck this guy. It's Thor. It's Thor. Because it's Thor.
I mean, it is.
There need us say more than it is Thor.
Thor.
Tis Thor, need I say more?
Like,
tis goodness to his core.
Ragnarok
alone.
Disagree, like,
you can
that one movie alone, like, just goated. Like, Ragnarok, like, that's another just fun Marvel movie. That one will never get old. Ragnarok will never get old.
That one's just fun. And it is one that you can just revisit pretty consistently. And I mean, Thor's fantastic in it. He has his real, like, he saw a lot of development in those first couple movies due to his relationship to Jane and stuff, but then he had to grow up outside of Jane, which I enjoyed a lot. I think it was because was it at the end of Thor that Loki destroys the bridge to the Bifrost? So whenever he comes back and Jane's like, where were you? What the fuck? And he's like, I'm sorry, Loki destroyed the Bifrost and I was protecting the universe I was protecting the 9 realms from certain destruction and keeping the peace. And she's like, that's a pretty good reason.
I've been mad at you this whole time.
But yeah, Thor's got a tragic one, man.
Now that he's joining the Guardians, though, it just makes sense. It just makes sense that they're all devastating. Bro,
it does. Damn. Yeah, there it goes. They gotta have that found family. You lose your family, you find a new one.
Damn, man. At least we got one Guardian, kind of a Guardian winning. I mean,
yeah.
We
had Gamora earlier, so we had a Guardian winning. Well, it was nice that we built in a place for a Guardian to win by having 2 of them face
without even knowing it.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of, and we'll go on to the next one. That was a nice quick one. Thor beats Jessica Jones. It feels fairly obvious to say. Speaking of the Guardians, though, let's do an 8 versus a 9 one more time. Last time on the bracket, I'm pretty sure, for an 8 and a 9. Rocket versus Ant-Man. Rocket Raccoon versus Ant-Man. And I got to tell you, I love Paul Rudd. But that raccoon
Let's go, baby. We got a Guardian victory. We got a legit Guardian victory.
That raccoon has made me cry tears.
Emotionally connected to a tree. Insane that a raccoon in a tree can get me to move to tears. But they did.
Oh, and I think to the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, at Yondu's funeral, when everyone, like, they're all looking out and they're like, they all came. And Rocket, like, looks down and he's like, yeah, they did. Even after he was an asshole and stole batteries he didn't need and only ever tried to hurt people. Like, Rocket, like the dude's just so, like, another just devastating character. And the cybernetic enhancements to a raccoon already very, very disturbing. And
it's called a rabbit all the time.
I'm just glad he's found his peace with Groot and the Guardians.
Rabbit. Like, when you're like, it's like calling
rabbit.
It's like calling a human like a flamingo.
Well, he doesn't know he's a raccoon either. They're like, raccoon. He's like, what's a raccoon?
Oh, really?
He doesn't know that either. Like he's just only one of me is
that's
me.
Right. That's right.
You know, like
he is very proud of himself. But yeah, I like Rocket moving on here.
And you know, we got to put some respect on Ant-Man. We do. It's a shame that neither Ant-Man or the Wasp is going to be moving on here.
Talk about a devastating thing. He came like out of time travel to a world like that he had no idea what happened. Like
he went to his house and his daughter was 5 years older than he last saw her. And you know what's crazy? Like comparatively, he got it good.
Yeah.
To like most people.
Man. That's I don't know, man. Love the Ant-Man movies. Don't have a problem. Don't got a
I do too. I really don't have a problem with Ant-Man at all. Yeah, I don't know what the hell how those lights turned on. I didn't even know they were there. It kind of freaked me out.
Okay. It's kind of weird. I'll leave it alone.
I'll let you know if I see anything like moving behind you or anything.
All right, I think I'm clear. Oh man.
All right, I think we're good. But yeah, I love the Ant-Man movies and I love Paul Rudd. But man, Rocket Raccoon, I've had more emotional resonance with him as of now than I have Ant-Man. And Ant-Man's had some great moments. Don't get me wrong. There's been some emotionally resonant stuff with him and Hope and with Hank even. Like they've had some good ones, but and his moment when he reunites with his daughter. That's one of my favorite Ant-Man moments there is. But he is often the comedic relief.
The tacos.
I mean, so is Rocket. But
come on, man.
Tacos.
And then Hulk. You got a good wholesome Hulk moment though out of that.
Oh, dude, that wholesome Hulk moment was the shit. Like I remember going, "Aw,
Chef Hulk."
You know, like
look at the guy I was holding to.
Hulk. Just the big old guy offering
he's like
him the little
tacos like just pinching them like they were just like super.
He's got to eat
that's
a bunch
like a bite
of those
size
things
for
to
Hulk.
Get full, man.
That's literally like a bagel bite. Like a bagel bite is like a bite-sized pizza, but like a pizza is like a bagel bite to Hulk. You know, it's like, damn.
That's facts. Poor guy. What a world he's living in. He's got to enlarge all this food. Somehow. Maybe he's got to hit up Ant-Man about that technology he's be wearing. He just like wraps his food in it, enlarges it, and then do you think it could work that way? It has to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. It depends on like, you mean, yeah. If he were to enlarge this apple, it would just be a big apple. I could eat way more of it.
That thing would just be New York.
Yeah. It's
a big apple.
They could really solve world hunger, man, with this tech. Just make food huge. Like so many less animals would have to die. Just make one gigantic cow.
Humans are just like, every state is like, yo, it's dinner time. They just put a giant apple on the state capitol and like we all converge.
Just every day it's just some different giant food that everyone just all eats. Just one giant food. That's all we get. Nothing else. You don't know what you're getting.
This
like pudding cup.
Communism.
Just one giant pudding cup. Everyone's just swimming around and just eating. Just pudding cup. Like, just one day. Loaf of bread. Just giant loaf of bread. Nothing else. That's all you get. That would be...
It's BYOB. Bring your own butter.
That would be... Dude, honestly, that'd be kind of exciting to live in a world like that. Oh my God. Just not...
What's the fucking statewide
wake up,
food
you just,
gonna
your
be
wallpaper,
today?
like, basically is just the food of the day, you know, like, because that's all that matters. So you just check your phone, you're like, oh, a strawberry, oh my god, and then you just run and go eat a strawberry. Oh man.
You just run.
I mean,
and
you
have
gotta
to
get there
run
before
there.
it's gone. Yeah. I mean, it's big, but everyone's eating it, you know? Yeah, I mean, early bird gets the worm.
It's true.
Rocket beats out Ant-Man.
Ultimately, that's why Rocket beats Ant-Man. Let's go on now to the next matchup. We've got a 4 versus a 13. This is a fun one. One of the more fun ones across the whole shits here. We got Vision versus the Watcher. And while I did say it would be fun, I didn't say it'd be all that difficult. It's a fun one on paper. You look at Vision, you look at the Watcher, you're like, holy shit, those are a couple characters that are super fun. Semi-faced off.
In a way.
Didn't really. In a way, his body faced off with the Watcher. The Vision and the Watcher probably would have got along quite well, if I had to say.
Would. I think Vision.
I think they kind of hit it off.
He would have the.
Would really
Vision
want to hear
have,
stories.
Vision would have the moment of realization that there's like universes out more, or like the multiverse earlier than Ultron. Because like Ultron literally needed nothing to exist in order for him to realize that. But like Vision would have just kind of, I think he would have got there like almost instantly, like with all the Infinity Stones. And I think he would have just like, we would have just seen him phase through the like whatever wall that is that the Watcher's like looking at, and he just goes, "Hey, who are you? You know, like, who are you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just hit it off. I feel like, oh, you just watch, you don't intervene. You're just this peaceful watcher. Oh, can I join you? Like, I feel like, I feel like that's what Vision would be.
Yeah,
like.
This is dope. I love this. No, Vision and the Watcher would hit it off, man. He would love to hear what the Watcher has to say about, and like they would just like go back and forth. Like, what do you think this means?
If
Vision
what's that and mean? Ultron could have a somewhat meaningful conversation, I'm pretty sure the Watcher and Vision would like, they got.
Well, and that's another thing that I love about Vision, and ultimately what WandaVision made me realize is that Vision is like a top 5 favorite Marvel hero of mine. Like, I absolutely love this dude. He is, who he reminds me of? And this says a lot about this other character. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Like a wizened, chilled,
peacemaker.
Direct, civil,
like
peacemaker. Like Vision will find the way.
The Avatar.
Hey, let's figure this out.
Like Avatar.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's like Aang. Just
There
it's,
you go.
Robot philosophy. It's really cool.
And all throughout, it's that I will do what I must. Like that's Vision. Like he's our very existence breeds conflict and conflict.
Like love watching him become more human, but him analyze that he's becoming more human, which is just hilarious because like that's just what computers do. Like he's just a supercomputer, and just like
stop
a
lying to me, Wanda.
Human is basically what he is. Like just the most a human could function. And can't eat a piece of gum though.
I fucking love
that'll screw him right up. Clog the gears.
Dude, he will be drunk as fuck.
Yeah, didn't know the inside of Vision was that simple looking. It was just those gears, just those simple looking gears. Yep.
I love that 50s 60s cartoon ass.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Kind of crazy. Stomach. Yeah, not vibranium and computer components.
No, not at all. It's just hollow with a bunch of gears and pistons and shit. But no, not a lot to say about the Watcher. We got a Uatu throughout a What If, and he was fucking awesome. Loved Jeffrey Wright and that voice. But you know, he just narrates for 7 episodes and then springs to action for a couple.
Have been chosen.
So it's like,
his voice is so cool.
Yeah, and we don't even see him do all that much. He gets other people to do the shit for him, really. He only really acts when he has to fight Ultron for a bit.
True.
And it's only because he had to. The dude came right to him. He stepped right to him and was like, yo, fight me.
What if that I didn't even think of is what if, like, Shuri got the stone out in time and then Wanda did destroy it?
Oh, yeah, man.
Or what if Vision and Wanda joined the fight when Thanos just was there right away? Would have been an easy, like, Wanda and Vision together, like, could have just taken him, like,
they're so good together, dude. Like, and that's another thing that's like their love, their romance is far and away my favorite comic book romance there is.
Just like that last storyline of like Wanda being the only one who can destroy it. Like, come on, man. Yeah, like, oh my God, like, what would have happened? Like, okay, obviously Thanos could have just went back in time no matter what and got it. But say he couldn't do that and they destroyed the Mind Stone, like, what would Thanos have done? You know, like, he would have had to do it the old. He would. Yeah,
it's interesting. See what sucks, like, and like obviously, like, we can do all these leaps. Doctor Strange ultimately said, like, there was one way that was going to work. This was the one way. Like, fuck all that for a second. The problem is that the Time Stone is the one we're not destroying.
You'd have to destroy the Time Stone.
Because no matter what, like, no matter when you destroy that stone, as long as he can get the Time Stone, it's true. On the table. You know what I'm saying?
So there's really no beating him. That's why it took 14 something.
Yeah, that's why ultimately the way was to just give him the fucking stone. Dang. They were like, fuck,
only
fine.
If like, I wonder. That's interesting how, like, they would have destroyed it. So they got it out of Vision's head. Vision's still alive at this point, but he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Is he just a brick? He can't fly? Oh, I guess
yes,
he's vibranium.
I believe he can.
How much? Of his power
like he's still. He is
stone?
Still very. Well, they make that point in the movie. They don't explicitly state, but they're like, there's so much there. There's my layer. There's Bruce's layer, Bruce Banner's, and Tony Stark's, and Jarvis.
And then they said, like, if we take the stone out, then there's still a whole lot of Vision left. Yeah.
But maybe they weren't trying to preserve his power.
Get the human?
Maybe they were just trying to preserve.
Form? That'd be they're gonna do that. I feel like next season that's a what if. Like, I don't know. There's so many what ifs though. That, like, you can ask so many what if questions. Like, how can I? Yeah, no, they're not. That's not.
Oh, dude.
They're
yeah, exactly.
Regardless,
though.
Yeah.
Vision does beat the Watcher. He's become one of those ones that's impossible not to like. You know, like that scene in Age of Ultron where he lifts Mjolnir after they've all been fighting to compete, and they're like, "How do we know you can trust you? How do we know we can trust you?" And he's like, "You'll just have to." And then he lifts Mjolnir, and they're like, "Okay,
yep, that's
I guess we can trust him."
Like, that would
worthy,
be,
I suppose.
That was, like, actually funny. Like, an actually, like, funny part of the movie. Like, that movie gets so trashed on, but like, that moment where Vision lifts Mjolnir.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's one of the best, like,
Yeah.
I like it more than the first Avengers
I don't
movie.
see how people can put the first Avengers movie above Ultron. Like,
I can't either.
You get Wanda, you get Quicksilver, even though Quicksilver dies, but like still cool. Like you get Ultron. What the? Yeah, I guess I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean, like, here's the thing. Ultron's an iconic Avengers villain. Like, one of the oldest foes they have. He's a cool addition to the MCU regardless. The Lizard King? You know
Come
what I'm
on,
saying?
Man. Jeez.
I have no strings on me. That shit was strong. Let's go on to this next matchup, though, where we've got a 5 versus a 12, and this is a fun one. We got Shang-Chi versus Okoye. And love me some Okoye. She's been badass in a bunch of stuff. Loved seeing her in Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame. Specifically, Endgame is when she's like whenever there's a council of, Captain Marvel and the Hulk and War Machine and Black Widow, who's the representative from Wakanda while T'Challa snapped? It's Okoye. I think that is saying something more than enough in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? Like her being like the de facto leader of the Dora Milaje. It seems like she's definitely the commander of the armies, sort of. She is super fucking cool.
Her storyline, or like whenever she decides to say no to Killmonger, like that moment, I just like that movie's just awesome. Black Panther, like so many moments like that.
Whenever, and I also love that she was so duty bound. Like she's another one where it's like I stand like
she had
our methods are our methods. Like this is. And, like, I love that as soon as T'Challa's like, you didn't kill me, she's like, oh, shit, dope. That means the fight's not over. You better stand the fuck down, man.
You bet. Like, oh, man, like, that, it was very, like, I don't know. That's another kind of, like, I didn't want to see Killmonger, like, necessarily die. Like, I wanted to see, like, T'Challa succeed. Like, I wanted to see him win, but, like, I didn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously, but that didn't have to mean Killmonger
was still
died.
Going at it for the right reasons, but going at it the wrong way.
I do appreciate it though that it's like there was one way Killmonger was going to stop pursuing his goal. Like he's manipulative enough and smart enough that if he lives through this situation, he'll figure out a way to get back out there. He'll figure out a way to become the ruler of Wakanda some other way. At least that's the implication for me, given what we saw in like What If and stuff, and given the fact that they did kill him. Because if they don't kill him, it does leave that openness for redemption. And
that man is too smart to leave around. He's.
It's true, and and Okoye has another great moment in that movie where she looks at Daniel Kaluuya's character, the leader of the I can't remember what tribe it was that was above, like outside of the perimeter to like kind of watch over and warn people when stuff was coming, and he was who Killmonger brought Andy Serkis to. I can't remember his name, but Daniel Kaluuya, whenever he's like, you choose Wakanda or you choose me, and she's like, I choose Wakanda every time, babe. Sorry. And she puts the spear to his throat and is like, fuck with me, I got it.
Tribe.
All right. I could have swore the Jabari tribe was.
Are you not talking about the people in the Ice Mountain?
In the mountains. I'm not. I'm talking about the ones who are outside the perimeter, who live on the like grasslands. Daniel Kaluuya plays him. Here, I'll look it up. The Border Tribe. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that was the other one
the border tribe. W'Kabi is who Daniel Kaluuya played, but him and Okoye kind of had a little bit of they had a thing going on, and the fact that he backed Killmonger really put a strain on their relationship. So she had a really cool storyline in Black Panther, and like throughout the films we've seen, she's had quite the impact. But this origin story with Shang-Chi here, it's one of my favorites. It might be my favorite solo MCU movie. And I need to give it some more casual rewatches, not in the theater to say for sure. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. I have not liked an MCU solo movie on first watch quite as fucking much as I enjoyed Shang-Chi. Like, I went and saw that in theaters 3 times.
Like, just so many moments in the movie, I was just like, oh my God, like this movie is so much better than I expected. And it just kept getting better. Like,
from that, like, I'll spoil one thing. There's a really dope action sequence on a bus towards the beginning of the movie. And from there on, like, there was already an action sequence before that gave me chills and nearly brought me to tears. And we were like 10 minutes into the movie. And then there's this action sequence on this bus. And I was just like, oh, okay. So we're getting into some really fucking cool shit here. That's what I'm hearing. And Shang-Chi can give anybody in the MCU the hands. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, it's the funny thing I remember in the theater. I won't spoil anything. A very particular door or gateway came on screen. And they named it they said, you know, the way they said it, and we
me and Joe looked at each other, locked eyes, was like and we went,
is this
Mephisto?
happening right now? Like, we've been talking about Mephisto for the past however long, and like,
it was like the dark, the dark gate, and it was just like something like that.
Is this really happening right now? And it's like, oh no, okay, that's
the gate that holds back the dweller in darkness. And we were like, oh fuck. But no, that wasn't it. We won't spoil
Mephisto,
what it was,
sorry.
That wasn't it.
It's a cockroach in there, Mephisto, I think. Is there a cockroach in that movie anywhere? I gotta look. Whenever it comes out on Disney Plus, I'm gonna look for cockroaches, man. Oh yeah.
But I mean, Shang-Chi was the shit. And the main character of a solo movie that just came out a couple months ago that I am so high on. Like, I can't say enough good shit about Shang-Chi. Sorry, Okoye. It's going to be Shang-Chi, and I'm interested to see how deep Shang-Chi can make it in this bracket the further and further we get. And I won't spoil who the next match is until the end of this. What his next match is until the end of this, but
yes, it'll
be an interesting one for sure. Let's go to 2 versus 15. We've got Doctor Strange versus Ghost Rider.
Not a particularly tough one. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, Nick. You can take the L on this one, but
take the door on your left, buddy. You're gone.
Ghost Rider is it's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I cannot wait for him to be folded into the MCU. And you haven't watched, but Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix is really fun and entertaining series. One that, you should watch, I think. That loses its steam as it goes on. It's kind of like, okay, we're really getting out here. Like how is this in the MCU? And is it? It seems like it is, y'all. Like, and Agent Coulson is the main character and stuff. Like, but Ghost Rider has an arc in that. He pops up and he's there for a good season or so. And his season's really fun. And the way he was brought to life by I believe it was Gabriel Luna, who played him. Yes, it was. Gabriel Luna played him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was a really good and fun take on Ghost Rider. However, you just can't beat Doctor Strange. Who, by all accounts, seems to be the focal point of this next set.
If I had to pick a favorite standalone Marvel movie, I think my favorite, it's either Iron Man or Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Doctor Strange is 2. Like I made a thread on Twitter a few months back after Shang-Chi came out when I was real high on it. I was like, here are the top 10 origin films in the MCU. And 1 was Into the Spider-Verse, or not in the MCU, Marvel or superhero origin films. I also went with DC and I incorporated like Batman Begins and stuff. But I had Into the Spider-Verse at 1, Shang-Chi at 2, and Doctor Strange at 3. Like, Doctor Strange at 3 is, dude, Doctor Strange is such a good fucking movie.
It's a really trippy movie, too. Like, whenever buildings start folding and stuff, like, that's an insane movie, and the visual effects, like, are literally insane. Like, it's...
No, yeah.
I like
it's absurd.
It's crazy that that's not like talked about more, because it's honestly some of the craziest visual effects I've ever seen. Buildings literally fold into each other and like create impossible, like all the time. Like that stuff was happening all the time, like in the movie. It's not like it was just a few like action sequences. It was like all the time this magic stuff's happening and like weird, just awesome visual effects. And like the story is so like, oh, I just love that movie. That movie's so good.
Dude, it's so fucking good. And his story where he's this arrogant asshole of a surgeon who is just great at what he does, but doesn't appreciate his ability enough, which is a weird way to phrase that. Yes, he is cocky and arrogant and is the best at what he does and knows it, but he doesn't appreciate the gift
I get what
he
you're
has.
saying.
I guess like he's
saying. Like,
yeah, you know, like it's funny. It's a funny way to put it, but it's the only way I can think to put it. He doesn't have respect for his abilities, and it ultimately comes back in a really karmic way. He thinks he's indestructible. He can live forever, and he takes that tumble, breaks his fucking hands, and thus you gotta go to Kamar-Taj. You know, go look into the mystic arts, as it were.
Yeah, he really had to dig deep though first.
I
guess he didn't really seek the mystic arts first, or didn't really know.
No, he got told that it existed, and he was like, "That's bullshit." All right, I'm a check.
That's true. Yeah, I'm a check anyways, just to make sure.
Fuck you, you're wrong. I'm a C though.
Gets there, gets mugged, sucks. But then gets saved. That'd be pretty. Like, if I was getting mugged and then dude in a hood came out of nowhere and just started beating the crap out of people who were mugging me, like,
shout out Mordo.
Sick. And then he becomes a Sorcerer Supreme, which is pretty cool. Like, what a line, you know, a fixed point in history, in time, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder how long he was there training at Kamar-Taj before he became like the shit. Because like, there's not a lot separating the time between when he starts training and when the Ancient One dies.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fast learner. Like, he's a doctor. Like, that's what he can do. Like, so he's reading all of these books that no one else can read. And he's supposed to become the Sorcerer Supreme anyways, you know?
True. Yeah.
And this is like all fixed. It's like, yeah, it's like he didn't even need time to train, you know? It's like,
it was gonna happen.
That like it's just such a cool, I don't know, it's a whole different outlook on like, his like origin story. It's yes, like it is his origin story, but it was just like always meant to be.
Oh yeah.
So like it's an, I don't know. It's not like a Spider-Man that just like happened to get bit by a radioactive spider. I mean, I guess Doctor Strange just so happened to become the Sorcerer Supreme, but I don't know. It's just
well, I mean, like there's that moment in Infinity War or not in Infinity War, Endgame, where Hulk is meeting with the Ancient One. He's like, I just need this for a bit. Doctor Strange said that she was like, Strange, he's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme for like 5 years.
It's a fixed point in time.
Yeah, that's something that was always going to happen.
Yeah, like they explained it in What If, like too, like whenever he was trying to get her back, like the Ancient One just was like, you becoming the Sorcerer Supreme is a fixed point in time. Like you cannot change that.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, it's kind of a more sad origin story. Like whether he wanted to or not, like this boy was becoming the Sorcerer Supreme.
That was a story, man.
Yeah, I don't know, but that movie's beautiful, and I will never get tired of that movie.
Nah, it's fantastic.
Sorry, Nick Cage.
Sorry, Ghost Rider. Got to say goodbye. But let's go on to this next one. We've got a 7 versus a 10. Daredevil versus Quicksilver. And this is an interesting one because we've gotten on-screen adaptations of both. We've gotten Daredevil in a movie with Ben Affleck. We've gotten that Netflix series, which is critically acclaimed and considered by many the best comic book media series there is.
He better be in No Way Home. Like, he's got to be the lawyer, man. No way do you just show a lawyer's hands, and just not be Daredevil.
They've expanded the shot. It wasn't him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's been confirmed now that wasn't him.
But that's what they want you to think.
Maybe they're faking us out. But I would love that because I really want Charlie Cox's Daredevil to be in the MCU, and whether that's this movie or not, I would like that to happen at some point. And it seems like it will, because apparently he's supposed to return as Daredevil in the series Echo, which is eventually supposed to happen at some point next year, I think. But yeah, so
this one is interesting.
We've also got Quicksilver, who was in Age of Ultron, who was a big part of Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse.
Iconic scenes
in those movies. Like, those are some of the most iconic comic book movie scenes ever for any. Like, no character has such distinct and epic scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you hear a song and you're like, that's Quicksilver's song, man. Like, every time I hear that song, like, that's the scene that it's like the first thing that pops in my head. Sweet dreams are made of these. Yeah, bro. Boom! It's a bop, by the way. Should be on your playlist.
Oh, absolutely.
But I growing up, I liked the character of Daredevil more, but like, I think this one's an upset, and I think it's a pretty, like, I don't know.
Okay, I'll say this. I need to get to know Daredevil better. The most shameful thing on my TV and movie watching resume, arguably, is that I haven't watched Daredevil.
Oh, dude. So you don't even know about the, like, Everessence or whatever, like, what's that one song called? Wake me up! You know that song? Like, you don't know about that scene where he's slicing all the sandbags and, like, going through this. God. Dude, that one scene alone, it's at the open of the movie. I ruined like two VHS tapes of Daredevil because I rewound and watched that scene.
You're talking about the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in years, but yes, I have seen that.
Okay.
I was talking about the show.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was about to say, man, you don't know about the wake me up. Bro, that scene I watched so many times.
No, dude, I was so set on the series that I was like, they really put that song in that fucking show? That's like 15 years old.
No, the movie.
Okay. No, yeah, I do actually remember that.
Oh my God, dude. I literally, like, 2 VHS tapes are broken because I rewound it so much that, like, it, you know, like in a cartoon, whenever like you do it too much and it just spits out the stuff out of it, you know, that legitimately happened to me twice.
Yeah.
The only movies that's ever happened to me is Daredevil and Spider-Man 1 and 2. That's it. Like, those are the only movies that's ever happened. And, yeah.
I will say, I think Daredevil's really cool though. From the comic books
really
I've read, and I've read a lot more Daredevil than I've watched.
The show is really good.
I've heard nothing but
so good. And I don't know if it's an upset anymore. Like,
I had to get you thinking because I was like, I'm not going to do Daredevil justice. If we end the conversation here, I'm going to go Quicksilver.
But Daredevil has always been, like, I guess Quicksilver's always going to be the side, like, hero too. I don't know. This is tough. This is actually hard. Quicksilver's more iconic, I think.
Quicksilver is another one that has a more storied history. He showed up much earlier in comic books, Uncanny X-Men #4, along with Scarlet Witch, where he was Quicksilver for the first time in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. But
I still think Quicksilver wins.
I think he does too, and I think we get ourselves an upset there, where I will say another guy who should not have died for Hawkeye.
True. Too many people have died. If one person's died for Hawkeye, it's too many people already. And we have
now 2 people have died for Hawkeye.
Bullshit.
Fuck yourself.
Yes, this is ridiculous.
So yeah, Quicksilver moves on past Daredevil. Let's go to this next matchup. For me, pretty easy. We got a 3 versus a 14. Black Widow versus Punisher. And frankly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't get the appeal of Punisher. Never been one that has particularly hit me in the correct way. I do fucks with Black Widow though. Black Widow's dope. She is super fucking cool.
Yeah, Punisher, I'm kind of with you. Like, I watched Daredevil and he's in there.
Yeah, the Frank Castle shows up as like who's the guy who plays him, like John something. He's in The Many Saints in Newark as Johnny Soprano though.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, John Bernthal?
Bernthal, yes.
And I don't know. It's kind of just a confusing character to me. Like, how does he not just get arrested?
Yeah.
Because he's just a normal guy.
He's just a normal guy with like heavy artillery.
And he's like literally just openly firing like assault like
see, and that's why
military grade weaponry.
That's why it doesn't hit right, especially modernly.
Yeah.
It's like this guy shouldn't be allowed to do what he does.
What?
And I agree that like
in the comics is he the same thing?
Yeah, he's just a dude with a lot of fucking weapons.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't know. It's not a superhero to me. It's not a hero to me.
No, and he never was supposed to be, I don't think. I think he is more in that anti-hero Venom sort of category. However, he's very, like, because he is just a dude with guns, he's much more dislikable than Venom is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a weird, like, he's just a really good actor though. Like,
John Bernthal's fantastic.
I think that's just why a lot of people love this character, is just like he plays the role well. Like, he's just a really, and in Daredevil he kills it. Like, he does kill it. Yeah, I really need to watch Venom, and you really need to watch Daredevil. You would love Daredevil.
And I know I would.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot articulate a reason as to why I haven't watched that show.
There's no reason why I haven't watched Venom either.
Yeah, it's just something I haven't gotten around to doing. And frankly, I enjoy when I have things I haven't gotten around to doing because it's like, more for later, snack for later.
It's like Westworld and The Sopranos right now.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back to Westworld. Oh my God.
Dude, it's going to be gorgeous. But let's, and we'll talk more Black Widow the deeper into the tournament we get as the matchups with her start getting more difficult. She's just really fucking cool and deserved better from the MCU overall.
Yeah.
But also got a lot of cool shit too. Like, I mean, she deserved a solo movie far earlier than she got it. She should have been getting it amidst the run of Iron Man 3, Captain America, Civil War, shit like that. She should have been right in there. But let's go to our next match with 6 and 11, Doc Ock and Sylvie. Now, Sylvie's an interesting one to have here because she is basically an MCU original character. She's based on the Enchantress. However, she's a variant of Loki. Therefore, this is not a character we've seen a whole bunch of. Going off against Doc Ock. I gotta go Doc Ock.
The on-screen Doc Ock. Spider-Man 2.
Hello, Peter.
Come on, man. Come on. It's Doc Ock. It's
Dr. Motherfucking Octopus.
The trailer. When we saw those arms. Come on, man.
And I made this one Doc Ock on purpose. One specific purpose in mind. Into the Spider-Verse Octavia Octopus. Or Octavia. Or what was her name?
Because it was like Dr. Octopus, let me guess. He's like, no, or something like that. Like, no,
She was like, well, to my enemies, I'm Doc Ock.
See her. Doc Ock.
Because it's Otto Octavius and.
As Dr. Octopus. Dr. Otto Gunther Octavius. Her name is Liv, but they're not like saying her other names. And this is only. The wiki page brings up the guy, not the Spider-Verse. What the?
Okay, it's Olivia Octavius. That's all.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was looking for.
Oh, just the name.
Oh, yeah, that's all I was looking at. And moreover, voiced by Catherine Hahn alongside Agatha Harkness, who's played by Catherine Hahn. So, cool to see the animated Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie was like, that's like another Marvel role for a lot of Marvel characters already. Like, they would go on to play other Marvel characters. Like, she played Octavia. She goes on to play Agatha. Mahershala Ali plays Uncle Aaron, goes on to play Blade. That's just interesting. Thought that was cool. Nick Cage, voice of Spider-Man Noir, was also Ghost Rider.
Can't leave Nicolas Cage out of this discussion.
Cannot. How could you? I mean,
man, greatest actor of all. Sorry.
Greatest actor of all time? Nah, I can't even joke.
I couldn't finish it.
But yeah, Doc Ock takes it over Sylvie, and Sylvie's dope. Looking forward to more content with her.
Did Loki dirty, and frankly, I resent her deeply at the moment. But I get it. You know, she's got to have development too. She can't be. There's no way she thought of all of the repercussions. Like, no, she didn't think like that. Oh, he's going to be at a completely different time, so like we're not going to really see each other like for a long, long time. Like I don't think she thought like all the way through.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
But
and with that
completes it.
that concludes the round of 64, and I think that'll probably be it for today. For the recordings, we will be linking back soon, though. Let's go through this real quick, and let's discuss what we've got coming next week on the round of 32 for this Marvel character tournament. We will have Spider-Man versus Gamora. We will have Ultron versus Deadpool. We'll have Scarlet Witch versus Jean Grey. Hulk versus Venom. Iron Man versus Shuri. Sam Wilson versus Magneto. Black Panther versus Odin. Wolverine versus Miles Morales. Steve Rogers versus Cyclops. Loki versus the Winter Soldier. Captain Marvel versus Storm. Thanos versus Green Goblin. Thor versus Rocket. Vision versus Shang-Chi. Doctor Strange versus Quicksilver. And Black Widow versus Dr. Octopus. It'll be a joy.
Oh, man.
Getting back together for the round of 32 there.
It's going to be exciting. We got a lot of big hitters still in there. Got a lot of, maybe some, I see some people down near the bottom of the list that can actually make it pretty far.
No, yeah, there's plenty here. I think we've only really got one that's like a shoo-in. I don't think we have any others that are like, oh, they'll definitely make it to the Final Four. We only have one, for me, for my money.
Well, I will always say Ultron should win it all. So I'll keep going for him till the end. Obviously he shouldn't, but I will never say that he should lose a round. But yeah, I think one for sure. I only have one.
I only have one too. That'll definitely make it.
So,
but other than that, we did a pretty good job here, I feel like.
Oh yeah.
And there was no other choice with that one. Like, it was just obvious. Like, obviously Spider-Man is going to make it to the Final
Spider-Man
Four.
is Spider-Man's making it. If you guys couldn't figure it out.
I mean, I don't know. But we'll see according to the people who they think should be moving on every round. You could if you would, go to patreon.com/CoraBloom, where you'll hear us do all the seeding, all of the planning for this here bracket. Then you'll also find like 20 hours of exclusive content on top of that. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, and come back every week that we do these bracket episodes, because we'll have the round of 64 up, and we'll have the round of 32 up whenever it's time for that. Whenever round of 32 is announced for us, whenever we put those episodes out. So again, if you were here for the first time, head over to part 1, check out that round of 64. Follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. I was Colton Robertson, joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hey, of course, buddy. And I'll see you very soon to talk the round of 32.
All right.
Peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.